Chess course. We're explaining this book, How to Reassess Your Chess. And this is the best chess book out there. If you want to improve your elo, you can just watch my lectures about this book. It's simply gonna take you from the 800 or 1000, 1200 stagnating elo that you have, and you're gonna easily go ahead and jump to 15, 16, 17, 1800. You will reach 1900 benchmark if you follow this book and you understand the term imbalance. That's all what this book is about. And I'm gonna explain in my lectures what's imbalance and how to detect it and how to make use of it to win your games. So Jeremy Silman talks about imbalances in his book, and there are 10 types of imbalances. I'm gonna say it to you in order. The first imbalance is superior minor piece. Then we have pawn structure, how your pawns are structured. Do you have a V shape? How developed or undeveloped are your pawns? Are they advanced or not? Then we have space, who has more space. We have material, control of a key file, then the control of a whole or weak square. We have the lead in development, we have the initiative, we have king safety, that's the most important one, and we have statics versus dynamics. And then he's gonna talk a little bit in the last chapter about planning. So all of these 10 imbalances are basically just there to help you find the right move or even build a long-term plan. That's all you need to know. Like, you need to see the imbalance immediately or just feel it immediately. You can take some time, but you have to see a position and say, there's an imbalance. There's no way you can see an opening, you can see a middle game, you can see an end game, and not tell yourself there is an imbalance. You have to detect it. First lecture, we're gonna just give a quick review of imbalances, all of them. And then in the next lectures, we're gonna take one by one all the imbalances and just focus on it. And you're gonna master the skill of imbalanced chess. So Grandmaster Kotov, quoting a mysterious chess sage, says, "A sound plan makes us all heroes. The absence of a plan, idiots." Do not be idiot, my friend. Every tournament player learns a few opening lines, some tactical ideas, the most basic mating patterns, and a few elementary endgames. As he gets better and better and more experienced, he significantly adds to his knowledge. However, the one thing that just about everybody has problems with is planning. From class E under 1200 to a master, I get blank stares when asking what plan they had in mind in a particular position. If you want to be successful, you have to base your moves and plans on the specific imbalance-oriented criteria that exist in the given position, not on your mood, tastes, or fears. So the first thing you have to do is you have to know all of these imbalances are going to help you make the plan. And the first imbalance is superior minor piece, bishops versus knights. We have the position here in front of us. Which piece is better? Is it the black horse or the white dark squared bishop? It's of course the bishop. Look at the knight. Look at the position of the knight. He cannot go almost anywhere. On the other hand, we have a monster bishop lasering these two great diagonals. In retrospect, we're gonna find out that the white position is way better. It's equal material, but if we check the chess engine, you can see that it's in white's favor. It's largely in white's favor, and that's because the bishop is controlling better diagonals, and the knight cannot jump here, he cannot jump here. He might go back here and then here, but that's gonna be taking a lot of time, and then I can just push this pawn. So it's not really an improvement for him. He's just gonna lose this game. Compare white's bishop which is eyeing two position penetrating diagonals. We just talked about them. And the black's slacker knight. See the adjective he uses? The slacker knight. It's a bad knight. It's useless knight. It's not defending anything really. It's not attacking anything really. You'll immediately know which minor piece is winning this battle. So this is an imbalance. Okay, let's take another example. Look at this position. Black's bishop, which is caged here, is no match for the white knight, which is the ruler of the known universe, as the author says. He's an octopus there. He's the man. He's the king. But this bad slacker bishop is not eyeing anything. It's just there. It's like a pawn. It cannot do much. And the white knight cannot be removed from there. Think about it. You don't have a white bishop. You don't have a pawn to kick the knight out. So it's basically gonna stay there forever. That's why in this position, white is crashing. It has 4.8 lead. That's what the engine says. So he's basically gonna destroy the black pieces. And the best thing black can do here is basically just sacrificing a rook for the knight and lose the game. So the author says here that combined with the other favorable white imbalances, central queenside and kingside space controlled by the knight, after pressure against a7, this is gonna happen. Black would be well advised to resign as soon as possible here, because this will happen. The knight is controlling this, so it's gonna be a party for white pieces. And yeah, it's very simple. You just play the game of chess. You try to put your knight in the best square. This bishop is dead. Minor piece imbalance. You win the game. It's very simple. Chess is very simple. So if you had a knight here in this position, you would look at the position and say, I have a minor piece, he has a minor piece, we have similar pawn structure, we have material balance, so I have to shine with my knight, with my minor piece, because he has a very bad minor piece, and so you just go here and here. You cannot do much during these two moves. You'll probably go here, here, something stupid. Once you position your knight on the e6, it's a monster, and you just won the game. So if you had the knight here, your plan is to get it here and win the game. The next following moves, like he advised with b1 and b7, are very easy to find once you put your knight there, okay? So that's another example of minor piece imbalance. Let's move on to the next imbalance, pawn structure. Look at this position. Who is better and why? I hope you thought about it. It's white that's favorably... It's white. White is much, much better here. And the reason is very simple. White has better pawns. And specifically as one better pawn. And that's this b6 pawn. You tell me why? Because it's a passed pawn. It's going to turn to a queen. It's going to promote. Well, also black has an advanced pawn. But is it going to queen? Do you believe that? Well, let's see. The white pawn has two rooks behind it. It's GG's. And he has a queen on this diagonal. And he has bishop defending the last square of promotion. All of this is unstoppable. You cannot stop that. Oh, what about the black pawn? It's very stoppable. If he advances too much, you just go back here. If you reach this position, just go back there. Or just block it with this. Or you just don't give a fuck. And here it's white to move. So you just push. He's not gonna stop you. How is he gonna stop this pawn? You can put this here. Yeah, I won the game. It's over. See what I'm saying? So do not overlook it. This is just a winning position So yeah, here white destroyed the black pieces with equal material, but with a better pawn structure, okay? He had a better pawn. The pawn was well defended. That black cannot take it. It will just simply promote, or it will, or black will be obliged to sacrifice a major piece for the pawn and lose the game anyway. The author says here, black is a pawn up and he has two passed pawns to white's one passer. Yet, black can resign. Sorry, this pawn doesn't exist in the position. So he has two passed pawns, but he's still losing. He can resign. The reason white's passed pawn is further advanced and all his pieces are working with the pawn to make sure it scores a touchdown on b8. So it's very clear that this pawn is gonna promote. This bishop cannot go ahead and save it. Even if it's black's turn, he will still lose. But it's not black's turn. So it's white's turn. This is the position. This is the position. You can do much. You can just go here. This is a great move too. You can push the pawn. When your position is better, when you have a healthy pawn structure, you have too many options to win the game. Black has an extra pawn, but he's still gonna lose the game. Even if we push this pawn, he's still gonna lose this game. Because this is a way healthier pawn, going straight ahead to the touchdown. Next position here. We're still in the pawn structure. Who is better and why? Just pause the video. Well, it's clearly white. White is better because he has this bad, sad, lonely, isolated pawn on the e6 square. It's defended by 3 pieces, yet attacked by 3. Okay? And it's not defended by another pawn. So white sees this imbalance and makes a plan. I have to get that pawn. I have to put more pressure on that pawn. Well, how am I going to do that? Well, just bishop h3. Bye-bye. Good luck. You cannot defend this. Yes, I can. Black goes ahead and plays knight to d8, defending that pawn. Well, think what you would do here. As white, you just go ahead and attack it once again. Well, here black simply says, okay, I'm not gonna be able to support that pawn. Let me just go back with my bishop. I don't want to lose the bishop. It's not defended, and if white goes in with the rooks, he can take this bishop. So he goes back. And here, white doesn't take. He can take, but he doesn't. White plays the brilliant, plays the brilliant move, f5. If you take with the g-pawn, I take with a bishop. And if you take, I'll just take your rook. And I'm winning. And of course, if you take with this pawn, you lose directly too. So it's a lose-lose position. f5 was crushing. The position was crushing. That's another example of how the pawn structure is very important. You want to have a healthy pawn structure. You want your opponent to suffer and have a very bad pawn structure. And one isolated pawn or one passed pawn can decide the game. It's that simple. Okay, now we move ahead to the third imbalance, and that's space, the annexation of territory, as the author names it. Look at this position. Who is better? It's clearly white. Why? He has more space, far more space. Look at this pawn chain. It's so advanced. The author says, a nightmare for black, who is so cramped he's gasping for air. He's suffocating. The black pieces cannot move anywhere. Look at this bishop. Look at this bishop. It's a nightmare. White has claimed an appreciable advantage in space in virtually every sector. Note how black's lack of wiggle room leaves his pieces in a tight little box, while white's are happy free-range pieces. In such positions, the side with this much extra space will almost certainly win if he can find a way to break into enemy territory. So that's the lesson you should learn. If you have more space, just break the territory, push that pawn. If you do the right push of a pawn, you will win the game. What are the right pushes of pawn possible here to just destroy, obliterate your opponent? Well, the first obvious one is g5. If he takes, you take. If he takes, you just bring the rook. Or you can take too. Another great possibility is just c5. And potentially c6. That's a great idea. You're just putting more and more pressure on his pieces until he has no more room to breathe. He will lose a minor piece at least. He will get choked because the pawns are easy to sacrifice. A minor piece cannot keep running away all the time. You're basically taking time from him because all of his pieces are going like, okay, let's retreat this move, let's retreat this move, let's retreat this next move. And you're taking his time, you're developing your pieces, and the king's gonna fall eventually. For example, if he takes here, we had a knight here. If he takes, you take, he takes, you take, he takes, you take, and the position is completely open for you to just go ahead and win. Okay? He has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces on the first rank. A bad, terrible knight on the second rank. He cannot stop you from winning. Look how much space you have. You're gonna destroy him. That's why you need to detect the space advantage. That's a big imbalance. Both parts here have the same material, but why is white really better? Why is white just superior here? It's the same material. White has more space. White took advantage of the imbalances that we talked about, and mainly the space advantage. So if you're playing the game and you're seeing the space advantage, will something clink in your head? I hope so, because then you're gonna win. There's also another possibility where you don't push this pawn, you just play this rook here and just go ahead and push these pawns, and you're just going for the king directly, and it's also winning. Okay guys, the next imbalance. This is the position in front of you. White to play. What would you play? Stop the video and tell me what would you play. Well, first of all, this imbalance is about material. I'm sure you all know material imbalance, as you see that +1 on chess.com or +5 or whatever. And here there's an equation. Does white go for that b7 pawn or not? Do we take this with a bishop or not? That's the philosophy of greed, as our author calls it. White is solid, but black seems to have a nice active position. If black's c-pawn was on c6, he wouldn't have any problems at all. If this pawn was here, black would be great. It would be okay. I mean, it will be an equal position, but this is attacked. So as white, you have to simply think about material here and say to yourself, if I go ahead and grab that pawn, will he get a pawn back? Will he get a better position? Will he get some compensation? So is it worth it or not? Well, we can simply do it. If we take this bishop, he will come with the rook here, and he cannot take this pawn. Nothing will really change. So yeah, you have to be greedy here and win that pawn. That's it. You're still better. The position is favorable for you now. You win the game, or you at least start grinding to win the game. So white here will embrace his inner greed and claim a material imbalance. Bishop takes b7. This is annoying for black, since the more pieces the materially challenged side trades, the closer to a pawn up endgame victory white gets. It creates a hole on c6, which allows white to grab control of the central light squares along the h1 to a8 diagonal. So this diagonal is completely controlled by white now, because he has a laser bishop, and he's gonna take control of that diagonal until the end of the game, because an exchange now is not possible. So yeah, this is being greedy. This is material imbalance. You have to be aware of it and to take advantage when you have the chance. Next, we have the fifth type of imbalance in chess, and namely the control of open files. Why to move? Stop the video. What would you play? Well, as you can see here, white has a favorable position. He's slightly better as the engine shows. But can't black just bring this rook here to e8 and exchange the rooks and then simply it's a draw? Yes, he can do that, but now it's white's move. And white has to prevent that so that he keeps the control over that open file. So white has to play the one and only great move, c6. Now black can never defend. He can never take control over that file. That file will be controlled by the white pieces for the rest of the game. So now this is not possible. You just simply take, and you lose the queen or you lose the game. It's impossible to control that file. Black will simply stagnate a bit and make some moves and then resign. The author says here white is doubled on the e file. He has more central and queenside space, and his bishop is the master of the light squares along the h1 to a8 diagonal, this diagonal. Nevertheless, a lot of material has already been exchanged, and the presence of bishops of opposite colors leads one to believe that black will be able to hold on. On top of that, black intends to swap rooks along the e file with rook d to e8. Fortunately for white, there's no need to worry since he has bishop to c6, this brilliant move. Both sides after that are playing for two possible results. Black will either lose or draw, and white will either win or draw, and we all don't want to be in black's shoes because we want to play to win at least. This is not a favorable position for black. One, because there's the possibility of completely controlling an open file, and two, because we have a little bit more space on the queen side. That's also an imbalance that you have to think about. So as long as you're seeing positions while you're playing, or in this lecture, in this whole course, the first thing you think about is how many imbalances are there in the position. Here there are two imbalances, and the most important one is by far the open file for the rooks.